simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm so glad that you're here spending some time with me. I thought that it would be a good idea to do a little art vlog, just kind of like a week of art with me. And spoiler alert, one, this is a chunky video, and two, I didn't really do a lot of art every single day. Mostly I worked on a painting. I'm thinking of calling it Sweet Grape. It was a very big experimental painting for me. Did a lot of things I've never done before with this painting, and I'm grateful it all turned out well because I was a little bit afraid that it wouldn't the way I was hoping it would, and I would have to scrap the whole painting. There was definitely times where I was like, oh no, what did I do? But it ended up all working out in the end, so I'm glad to share that process here with you. There's a couple of other sketchbooky kind of things that also happen during the first week of February, so stick around and I hope you enjoy watching. The first thing I did was darken up the background. I just wanted another layer of the granulating purple. The more I use and get comfortable with my granulating watercolors, the more I realize that I do kind of have to work in layers with it to get at least an effect that I want, and also to make it, the background more interesting. After I did a second layer of the skin tone, I decided to go in with this purple color. I had this reference saved from Pinterest of this girl having like purple paint across her face, and I was like, whoa, I really want to try that in my painting. So that was the whole experimental part that thankfully went pretty well, because at first, as you can see, it was really looking kind of scary, and I didn't know how I was gonna fix this part of the painting. But eventually, now as you can see, I did fix it. I made it work. This painting did take me a while because there was definitely parts and times where I wasn't motivated to finish this painting. There were some aspects of it I didn't really like, and I didn't know if I wanted to continue painting it. And I think that's kind of the downfall of how I work with the paintings that I have ideas for. I usually sketch out my paintings way before I'm even ready to start working on them. So my wall is full of sketches that I'm waiting to paint. And by the time I get to that painting, like with this concept, by the time I got to this painting, I didn't feel super precious about it. Like if I messed up, I messed up. But the overall goal was to make it work. I don't think I would have been completely devastated if this painting didn't work out, because I don't have that same connection with it when the idea was fresh in my brain and I was super excited to start painting. I don't feel that overwhelming pressure to make everything look perfect. So it was definitely a relief, because then I could be more experimental with my art, but definitely don't use your final paintings as experimental paintings. You could if you want, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your art. From personal experience, if you are very precious about your art and if it's your baby, take some time to experiment outside of a final painting is my humble advice. The next day I was pretty exhausted. I ended up going to work, and I do work a full-time job that's pretty physical. So when I come home pretty late, around like 5 is when I usually settle. By that time I'm really tired and sleepy, so I didn't feel very motivated to paint. So I decided to just prep some paper for a painting. The next day, I had a day off, so I started out with just doing some sketchbook work. One of my art goals is to improve my watercolor mixing and just water control in general. And one of the ways that I find feels very productive but also fills your sketchbook is to swatch out colors that you want to put into a palette and see how those paints that you want to put in your palette relate to each other and work with each other. By doing this, I realized I really love indigo and I love the mixes that it makes. Like this scaly texture, it's so cool. I do show you very quickly how it looks. So this is how it looks when it's almost completely dry, and you can see that texture in the granulation. I thought that was pretty cool. So after I did a little bit of sketchbook work, I did take a break, did some other house chores and stuff, and then came back to this painting a little bit later in the evening. So the sunlight was pretty much already gone, but I did want to at least tackle some part of the painting that wasn't gonna feel super overwhelming right away. Fun fact is I've never painted braids before. At least I don't think I have. And so when I was painting these braids, could have done I could have done it a little better, but I am actually pretty proud of how they turned out for my first attempt. There were a lot of layers and tweaking that happened. At first, I did want to have a brown and green undertone showing through, but I was having a hard time matching it with the other side of the braid. I ended up just painting over most of the brown and green. It still peeks through here and there, but there was a lot of layers that happened before we got to the final look. And sometimes you just have to say, good enough and move on to the next thing. And the next thing for me was painting that scarf. So I ended up tackling it a little bit later in the evening after I did the braids, just because I knew it was gonna be something that was gonna take me a couple of hours to do, and it definitely did. I didn't realize how transparent my mixture was. I was going for a very warm, like mustard, brown, orange color. And I really love that color. I think it looks beautiful on like warm skin tones. Like it's one of my favorite nail colors. I think you're gonna see it later on when I get my nails done in this video. But I love this color and I think it looks gorgeous, and I wanted to figure out how I could make this color using the gouache paints that I had. And I did find a couple of different formulas. I went with one that after testing it all out worked the best for me. I didn't realize when I tried to paint over a large part of the paper how transparent the yellow is. And I did have to do many different layers, and I was getting a little bit upset because I thought that it was getting a little muddy and then more brown than like orangey yellow. And like I wanted a warm mustard yellow and I felt like it was giving brown and I did not want that. But in the end, it all turned out really well, and I really love how the little bow ties look. It's very cool. I wish I could just like copy and paste what I did here and like repeat it in every painting that I've done, but that would be a little bit crazy and not possible. But I really love that bow tie. I don't know. It was my favorite part of the painting. Because this painting basically took me all night and I didn't really have a lot of sunlight to film, like it was kind of gloomy and rainy most days after work. And even when I had some time off, like the sunlight, it's really hard to catch it. It's always like certain times of the day, it's really bright and sunny, and then it would just start raining, which is so sad. But the next day, I decided to use that sunlight to film some reels for Instagram. I wanted to try out a more simplistic style from how I usually paint, like this. And because it's the new year and the year of the rabbit, I wanted to just make some really simple rabbit paintings using the watercolors that I really loved from my practice in my sketchbook. I created a very similar color for the background, and I decided to paint some rabbits in my sketchbook and make some reels from it using acrylic gouache, something I have not pulled out in a really long time. So I was glad to finally use them and have some fun in my sketchbook.
In my dreams we always fight, cause we never worked it out. It just kinda slipped through our hands. And I never really said that you hurt me, no instead I just try to understand. It was so exhausting, so I lost it, had to make it stop. Didn't really feel like giving you the chance to make it up. You asked me what's the problem, to be honest, it was you. That's the truth. It really was such a bad plan, cause I really honest, though I beg for you to keep it to yourself. Thought that you could buy my love, but I don't want that at all. You know I don't care about that. It was so exhausting, so I lasted, had to make it stop. Didn't really feel like giving you the chance to make it up. You asked me what's the problem, to be honest, it was you. Why is that true? It really was such a bad plan, 'cause I really think you wanted me to stay. Everything you did, it finally pushed me away. Looking back, what a messed up time it was. Figured out how to leave, and I'm glad because now I know how it goes.
This first week of February was difficult emotionally, physically, and spiritually, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like I'm heading towards burnout and I might need to disconnect and be in the present moment. But a part of me is seeing how my hard work is paying off now on Instagram and on YouTube. My efforts are seeing some growth. I think I might be hitting my first goal of 2023, which is hitting 300 subs soon, which is really exciting. I thought it was gonna take like the end of the year to hit that many subs, so I'm super grateful. Thank you so much. I've been thinking way too much and taking on a lot of mental load to the point that I feel anxious most of the time this week. I started the day with a tarot card reading because it's been a while since I've picked up my cards for guidance, and I completely understand if anyone listening right now isn't into tarot, but hear me out. I was feeling really anxious and I didn't sleep well the night before. I really needed some reassurance and I couldn't reassure myself from a personal issue that was going on, and I couldn't reassure myself, which was giving me more anxiety, which was preventing me from having good sleep. So I did a 3 card pull, past, present, and future. Everything was looking okay, and then I pull the present card and it was the judgment card reversed. And after reading from one source what it might mean, it actually re-triggered me and gave me more anxiety. I thought something bad was gonna happen and I was getting really overwhelmed by my thoughts. So I decided to look into it more and I found this other meaning which I felt resonated with me more. It talked about having self-doubt, feeling guilty, and having regrets that are holding us back. Or personally, I felt like I had things that were holding me back because I haven't taken the time to reflect and build systems so these past mistakes didn't happen anymore. And if they did happen, then I had systems in place to help me through getting to a healthier place instead of not being able to sleep and being super anxious. Reading that new meaning made me feel a lot more hopeful, especially the end about working on self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, and self-love, and just releasing all of that anxiety and feeling that freedom. Generally, I've been working on finding systems that support me, but sometimes I forget that I need to make them a habit so they stick. And when I need them the most, I can always go back and refer to my systems to help me when I'm feeling anxious. I'm telling you this because if I stayed with that one definition, I would have been in a worse mental headspace than I am now. And I think now is the best time to take some time and reflect. And in speaking about my personal situation, it is helpful for me to talk about it as well because I don't want anyone to feel alone. And I hope this brings someone comfort if they're going through a situation where they're doubting themselves or they're feeling guilty or they're feeling like they're making a lot of mistakes in their life right now. Sometimes we just need some guidance or some systems to kind of help us, keep focus on what our goals are. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I hope you will stick around a little longer for some chill music and tape peels, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Take care.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know. I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. We're all in this. I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. Hello, Ramona. I mistook you for a dream. The engine glows, and I guess you always seem to know. Hello, Ramona. I push back the serious feeling. The end's unknown. To get back the life I used to know. I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. We're all in this. I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know.